I love what I teach because it is relevant to the world. Hi, welcome to Mr. Parker Meets. I'm Stuart Parker. Hi, I'm so glad for you to join us again for another episode of Mr. Parker Meets. I am Stuart Parker, the Orange County Public Schools 2021 Teacher of the Year, and I'm having a great time talking to a lot of the awesome teachers we have in our district and showing you some of the awesome things that we've got going. So I would love to introduce you to the two amazing women we have today. If you've watched the show before, you've already met Donna Hackett-Mello. She is a second grade teacher at Arbor Ridge School. And she talked to us a lot about the SEL activities that they do in their class and reading and the awesome ways that she is able to bring that into the classroom and open students' eyes to other voices and things like that. And then also joining me today is Amanda Ferguson, and she also is a second grade teacher at Arbor Ridge School. And I have these two women here today because they are part of the Green Team at Arbor Ridge. And this is a really cool initiative that is throughout. A lot of schools have green teams, and they do things to just promote sustainability and environmentalism in the classroom and in the greater school community. So I wanted to have these here with us today to talk to us about a little bit of what they do at Arbor Ridge to promote their green team. So ladies, thanks for joining me.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
All right, so we've already heard about this from Donna, so I would like to ask Amanda this question. So I always start with this because teachers, we love just to hear stories about how people get into this. So how did you get into education? What brought you into education, and kind of what is your philosophy or your goal with your students?
So I went to the University of Florida undergrad, and my major was English. And everyone asked me, "Are you going to teach?" And I said, "Absolutely not." I grew up as a little girl wanting to teach, but then when I got into college, I was like, no, I'm not going to teach. I had grand ideas of being, a marine biologist and, a psychologist. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew I didn't want to teach. So then I started going through classes, and I realized that I really love English. I really love literature, but I didn't know what I wanted to do with it. And so after I graduated, I still didn't know. And I came back home to Orlando, and I got a job at Orlando Health. And I was working with the families of patients in burn trauma. And that was a very emotional career, and I did not last long because it was so emotional, and I really had to do some soul searching. And I asked myself, what do you want to do? And I came back to when I was a little girl, and I said, you know what, let's try this teaching thing. You might be good at this. And so instead of jumping right into a job, I actually went into UCF to get my master's, and I got my master's in elementary education. But after that first semester, I was like, I have to teach. I need to be in the classroom now. This is amazing. And so without even doing an internship or anything like that, I interviewed and got hired at my first school. And it was amazing. And I fell in love with it. And that was 15 years ago. And so I just love teaching. I love making each child feel like they are the most important person sitting in the room. And I really enjoy knowing that every child is going to grow up to make a difference, and making sure that they know that as well, which is part of why the whole Green Team and everything like that came about. So that's how I got into education.
Awesome. I find it so amazing how many that just a path, and everybody has a different path that we get to, but we all get into it for the same reasons. So that's pretty awesome. And you did mention your Green Team, and so a big thing that I have push and thing that I love with my students is just creating how can they be agents of change locally, globally, any kind of way that they do it. So y'all's Green Team at Arbor Ridge really focuses on that and focuses on the community, the school, and then, take it local and then global and all different types of things. So kind of what is the purpose that you, both of you, see for the Green Team at your school?
So with the Green Team, when we started a couple of years ago, we just knew that we have amazing kids here at Arbor Ridge. There's amazing kids in Orange County, and a lot of them were coming to us with ideas of how we can fix problems in the world. And there was one particular student who was very passionate about animals that were nearing extinction. And so we had a heart to heart, and we talked about it. And it just became a thing where he would come to me and we would chat about problems in the world, and he would brainstorm, how could we fix this? And that's kind of how it started, because of him. And then as more students would hear us, they would get involved. And it was just one of those things where, kids are amazing and they are brilliant and they have good ideas. And for us to be able to create a club, a group where those kids can get together and brainstorm those ideas and then put it into action was really all where it started.
Yeah, I think what happens is the kids realize, especially second graders, anytime you talk about animals and animals in trouble, or the earth is in trouble. Anytime you talk about it, the kids want to just continue discussing, well, that's not right, and what can we do? And so now with the Green Team, they know, wait a minute, we do have a way that we can make our voices heard and we can actually help. So taking that from the second grade classrooms, because like I said, second graders, they're just really, they're really good at empathizing with everything at this age. They're old enough to understand the issues and young enough to really have this, these rose-colored glasses. They look at the world in a certain way and they want it to be that way. So now when they know there's a club that they can go to so that they can make an impact on their own backyard, as well as, out in the wide world, they start to go, okay, that's the team for me. That's the club I want to be in. So I only joined the club, I think the second year we had it. The first year I wasn't actually part of the team, but seeing what Amanda was doing with all these students, I was like, so next year I want in on the Green Team. You just let me know what to do, and I'm in, because I'm all about that too.
Awesome. So what are some of the focuses that your Green Team has? Like, what are the things that y'all do for the school and for the community?
So the Green Team is kind of an umbrella for a couple of different clubs, actually. So we have, in a normal year, we have our recycling club. And that is a club of students K through 8 who meet in the mornings and go around and get the recycling from all of the classrooms. And then we take it, we make sure that also the teachers and students are educated on what can be recycled in OCPS, because it's different from what can be recycled at home. And we produce little commercials for the morning announcements and just the actual act of picking up the recycling and taking it. We had to, now that we've educated the school, we had to increase the number of times that our recycling dumpster came to get picked up, because we moved a lot of stuff from actual landfill dumpster to recycling, which is awesome. And then also under the umbrella of Green Team is Club Serve, which is a service learning club. And we do a lot of stuff in Club Serve. It was kind of like a topic a month. We've done, talking about different things that our community needs, different things our school needs, and then looking out to the world as well. We've raised money for different organizations, and really it's student led. So we ask them, what's on your mind? What's on your heart? What should we do now? And they come to us with different things that they would like to fix if you will. And then sometimes if there's nothing that they're actually wanting or needing to do at that moment, nothing pressing, then we'll brainstorm things we can do in our community, such as, just little pick me up notes and candy that we'll take to Arnold Palmer Hospital, or Valentine's to go to a nursing home, just stuff to make people smile, and couple that with the stuff that we're doing to educate the community about being green. It's a really powerful club. So it's awesome.
So I know one of the things, and I've seen pictures of this and announcements of it, that y'all do, and that something that happens is y'all actually, to a degree, kind of transformed the school, the outside areas of the school. You've had some things added to it that help with the green aspect of it, and conservation, and just all sorts of stuff. So what are some of those things that y'all have added to the school, kind of the property itself, as the green team and the different student organizations?
Well, Amanda, last year, she actually looked into adding school gardens, because we wanted to do something like that with the kids. They love gardening, and showing them the process. You can talk about the plant life cycle. You can actually show the kids what it takes to grow your own food. She decided, let me go see what's available. I think she was talking earlier about how one of the I believe one of the places that was going to help us with the garden, it was going to be a very large amount of money. So Amanda went and dug even deeper to find a way to get our garden funded, and to do so in a more economical way, but to make sure we really had enough beds, because one of the ways was going to be very economical, but we were going to have like 2 beds, and we had 5 classes just for second grade that wanted to use them. Plus we had middle schoolers who wanted to get in on that. So the school garden has been there since last year. Last year we had the kids growing a variety of different vegetables. We had herbs in the garden that they were able to go. We harvested them after taking care of them for a while. The kids got to taste their own food. We were able to, there were people at the school who were just showing that they would really love to see what our students have done, and by love I mean they really wanted to eat what we had grown. So we were able to share it with our school community. And then this year we've been working in the school garden again. We're growing a few different types of vegetables, but it's wonderful this year. The kids really love getting their hands dirty. They love watering the garden. They love to see the things grow. And Amanda and I have guinea pigs as class pets now, part of the SEL initiative that we got grants from through UCF and 100 Women Strong. And we were able to pick our own green bell peppers to feed to our class pet. So it's wonderful that we can actually use the things that the kids are doing with the class garden in the classroom for something else that we've got funded. The kids absolutely love that we were feeding the Rexy and all. Amanda, what are yours again? I can't remember.
Do I have a number of guinea pigs? We have 3 in my class. I have a Disney themed classroom, and so our guinea pigs are Buzz, Woody, and Forky from Toy Story. They're amazing. We love them.
Yes. You talk about we've got other great spaces that she's been talking to Miss Lester about.
Yes.
Yeah.
So outdoor learning is very important. The difference in the demeanor of some kids when we just take it outside is amazing. And so we try to do that as much as possible. So like Donna was talking about, we have the garden, which of course is amazing. We get our hands dirty and the kids love it. But we also have 2 other important spaces on our campus. One is the butterfly garden. taking a step back, we really like to get the community involved because, we can't afford everything just on our own. And so you have to be crafty with how to fund a lot of these things. So I love grant writing, and that's one of the main things that I do. But I'm also our school's partner in education coordinator. So I like getting a lot of different companies involved with what we're doing. And it just so happens that one of our partners in ed, that's the Spot Massage, is also a mom of students at our school, and her sons are in Boy Scouts. And so they needed an Eagle project. And so this started many years ago. And they wanted to do our butterfly garden as an Eagle project. And that was amazing because we really got to combine a lot of different things. So Mrs. Lester, her sons, they all did the groundwork, and then pulling the green team in, we knew that we needed to have some sort of sustainability mark on it. So we got in touch with the transportation department at Orange County Public Schools and requested that if they had any leftover tires, that we would like to recycle them into our butterfly garden. So we got, I want to say 20 or so recycled tires that we turned into mini beds in our butterfly garden. And so that was a cool way to make it sustainable. And then we planted a bunch of different of the nectaring flowers for the butterflies. And it's a beautiful area. You can see it as you're walking to the cafeteria, and it's right across the way from our vegetable garden. So it's very cool, and the kids love going out there. And right now, second grade is currently in our life cycles unit. And so we have butterflies in our classrooms. We have the chrysalis, and Donna's classes had 2 butterflies so far, and we have one coming soon. So it's really cool because you can see it. You can see all the stages. It's bringing the curriculum to life, and it's not just reading in a book. The kids love it. And then the third area that we have is another Eagle project from another scout, and they set the foundation for an outdoor classroom. They mulched a big area, and then they got a bunch of tree stumps to use as seats. And we've been out there many, many times. It's just so nice being out in the fresh air and reading. We do a lot of our health classes out there where we're doing our SEL lessons and whatnot. So just the outdoor learning is really it's green. We love it. So we're trying to transform our campus.
That's amazing. I love it in there. So, and I want to ask, because you kind of mentioned about this. What's really cool is you take this conservation-minded approach, this environmentalism, and it's not just after school and that kind of stuff. I know from experience, both of my children, 2 of my 3 children have gone through second grade at Arbor Ridge, and the team as a group, y'all do a really good job of taking the curriculum and all of this and working in ways that these students can kind of be those agents of change, but also just service to the community and to the environment and to the world. So what are some ways that y'all do that to kind of then take this service-minded approach and bring it into your classroom?
So one of the things we're doing currently, some of the classes I think are already finished. Mine are still working on it. Last week we did a whole week of Earth Week activities. We focused on a different theme each day: water one day, trash another day. And at the end of the week, it was Civic Friday. So we learned how to write letters to representatives or senators. And how to, well, first of all, we're showing them how to properly compose a letter. And then also we're working on the messaging. So we're asking the students, after all the things we learned about issues that are facing the environment, that are facing animals, what would you like to have a representative help you to change? So we're actually, my class is taking it step by step. We're working on each part. We are introducing the children in the letters, and then we're letting them actually sit there and think about what issue is important to them. A lot of my students would like to end or ban plastic straws because they have seen the videos of the turtles with, you know, straws in their noses. They've seen videos of animals being caught in plastic bags. Another big one is trying to see if a representative, please help me get grocery stores to switch to paper bags only. And then they're writing out their reasons. And one of the things that we learned on the video that the kids thought was neat, the mayor of Miami Beach was on there, and he said, whenever they get a letter from a child, from a student,
Yes.
and it's written from that student, not just, hey, everybody wrote the same exact letter, but it's handwritten and it's got their message, they stop and they listen. So the kids are so engaged in this project right now because I keep saying, and what did they say when they get a letter from a student just like you, handwritten, and they're like, they're gonna read it and they're gonna listen to us. So that's one of the big projects we're doing currently, is just showing them that you can make your voice heard with important people. So Amanda,
We've done other stuff in the past with the community as well. It's really cool to integrate into the curriculum. You know, when you think of math, you don't necessarily think of service learning. And so one thing that second grade has done in the past, we obviously because of COVID weren't able to do it this year, but hoping to bring it back next year, was a project where students picked a recipient. And we tried to get it to be another school in the community that maybe does not have a lot of funding or maybe has a lower social economic status. And we decided to stock their food pantry. So what we did, we called it a Make It a Difference project, and we had the kids decide what they wanted to do to earn some money, be it just donating their allowance if they got one, or having a lemonade stand, or anything that they wanted to. And the kids were really creative. I got a lot of pictures of, garage sales and making crafts, and it was adorable. So then what they did was they figured out how much money they had, and we got in touch with the school that we sponsored and got a list of what they wanted for their food pantry. And so what we did was a little digging to find out the cost of each of those items if we were going to go to the grocery store, and they listed how much money that they had earned, and they decided what they could afford with the money. So a lot of, dollars and cents and adding money and whatnot. And so then we took a field trip to Publix, and it was cool because we got a behind the scenes tour and all of that. But the real point of going was to spend that money that they had earned. And so I want to say 2 years ago, the whole second grade, I want to say, earned almost $1,500, which was amazing because it was not even 100 kids. And they spent that money, and they purely bought from the wish list of the school that we were sponsoring. And then we got to go and take all of those bags of groceries to that school. And it was so powerful because they got to see who they were helping. And they knew that, just like it was called the Make a Difference project, they were making a difference. And it was math, and it was, writing letters, and it was a ton of stuff all integrated into service learning. And that is the most powerful kind of lesson that you can have for a child, especially at this age, because they're going to grow up and they're going to be, it's so cliche, but they are the future. We have to make sure that these kids know that they can make a difference, and starting them this young with it is very powerful. So I love doing that project, and I think the whole team looks forward to it when we do it, when we can do it. And I'll be glad when we can start doing field trips again so that we can get that back in there.
Oh, yes.
I love, because it's just creating, I think you hit it, you said it earlier, Donna, like they just have this empathetic heart. Like they have this, they've not, kind of by the high schoolers, they kind of have sometimes jaded and they're kind of little, whatever, but like, I love you're instilling that. And the goal, I know, is not, we're just going to do this for this year. Your goal is some of those kids y'all have influenced by the luck of the way the school is until they're 14 years old. And so they can come back and you can still include them. And then it just becomes this service-oriented mindset that they have, green and service, and how it all kind of just works together in there. So I think that's pretty awesome.
The great part about being at a K-8 is that the little ones see the middle schoolers, they see them being green. So they obviously look up to them as leaders of the school. But then when the middle schoolers see the little ones being green as well, it's kind of like a big brother, big sister type thing where they're, hey, there's my buddy. He's being green. Way to go. So being in a K-8 is really awesome because they have that friendship and they have the same goal in mind, which is cool. So like you said, going from K all the way to 8, we have them for a long time. And every year we can add to what they had the previous year. It's so cool.
So, well, one more thing that y'all talked about is y'all were recognized last year for like energy and water conservation and different things like that. So what were the programs or the projects that kind of got y'all recognized by the district in their program?
So we didn't know that the Green School program existed in Orange County Public Schools, which is kind of cool. We started talking to Colleen Buckley, and she's been great with mentoring us. And we found out that there was an application. It's an award to get funding. And we applied, and it's really intensive award. There's all different areas that you have to prove that you're doing green in, and so they have different parts of the award. You can get incentives for staying under the district goal for energy and water. So we got that incentive for energy, and then they also have judges prizes where when you submit all the stuff that you've done for that year, the judge looks through all the applications and picks, I guess, a favorite. And we ended up winning for energy as well. So one of the projects that we did for that was our green team went around one day after school, and we had these little green slips of paper, and it was more encouragement than gotcha. We don't want to be a gotcha because we don't ever want to turn it into that. But the kids wrote down, we noticed that your lights were off when you weren't there. Great job. We noticed that, you have put in any requests for drippy faucets. Great job. We noticed that your smart board's off. Just little things like that to encourage the positivity. And then maybe down at the bottom, they wrote just suggestions. If you did see a room where a ladybug had been left on, remember to turn off your ladybug. So it wasn't anything where anybody got in trouble. We did not take this data and go to administration or anything like that. But it was just a way for the kids to encourage and the teachers to know that people, the kids are watching, and the kids have they really want to make a difference. So next time even if just the members of the club see that, oh, wait a minute, we're walking out to lunch, we left our lights on, let's turn around and flip them off. That is going to make a huge difference. And as that happens in our little club, it's going to spread to the rest of the school. And so that was, I think, the reason that we got judges pick for that one. So we did get some funding from there, and we've been putting it into use this year a lot with our different gardens and expanding, and it's been pretty cool.
And it's probably really cool for the kids if they went back around like the next time they did it, and the teacher they went to before didn't have their ladybug off and it turned it off. They're like, oh, they could have thought maybe that's because I put that note there, and they felt like they made a difference and they changed that.
And that's the point. Yep.
We've seen that with there was a leaky faucet. I know that we were doing one of those things with the water conservation, and the kids made posters a few afternoons in the club after school, and they made videos. And I remember one of the places that they said that the leak was happening was in the bathroom by the lunchroom. And I said, oh, so what do you guys think we need to do? What is one of the things that we've been telling people? Well, we've got to report it. So of course we put in the maintenance request, and then like a week later, one of them mentions that the leaky faucet is not leaking. So it's like, yeah, see, you're making a difference. You're noticing things that someone else might not notice. And by bringing it to the attention of the people who can do something about it, we can make that difference. And it can be tiny little things. This little sink has a little bit of a drip, but that is making a difference, just one little thing at a time. So they were very excited about the fact that, like I said, again, they realized, oh, my voice matters.
Yeah.
I did something.
And I don't think that our goal really is to change everybody just, drastically. That's not what it's going to take. I think that our goal is, like Donna just said, baby steps, and just making children aware so that as they grow, they can take those baby steps and turn them into leaps and bounds. And if we have all of these students coming through our school who are making these changes, it's going to be a big change for our district and for our community, and ultimately, I mean, for the world.
Mm-hmm.
There's in geography and different things like that, there's a phrase in our textbook I think it goes back to the 80s, and it's think global, act local.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're teaching the kids. Think global. These are global issues, animal rights and, endangered species and water and energy and sustainability. These are global issues. But if we think, oh, this is a global problem, and you look at it so big, the kids are going to be like, I can't do anything to fix that. But what y'all are doing that's so cool is you're saying, okay, so this is a global issue. What can we do locally to make a little bit of a change? And I think that's really cool to see that at play with it. And so you're like, okay, so this drippy faucet, like you said, it may not be this huge thing, in the grand scheme of the global area, but the loss of water, that's a trickle effect, and the lights turned on, or those types of things. And these little things that they can start with can lead them to bigger and bigger things, and they can actually make a little bit of a change here. And if we change a little bit here, it's going to have that impact at a bigger scale.
One of the things we're going to work on, I don't know if you were thinking this, Amanda, we learned last week with Earth Week about Meatless Mondays. We learned how deforestation in the Amazon is largely due to cattle farming.
Yep.
And I think soy as well, but it's the large majority is cattle farming. So the students were learning about how making a change, just if everyone did Meatless Mondays, where you did not eat any meat on that one day of the week, how big an impact you could make. The students actually went to the lunch line that day, and instead of getting, I don't remember which one it was, tangerine chicken, because I wanted to eat it so bad, but I didn't. I got something vegan instead, but they actually chose the no nut butter box instead of the tangerine chicken for lunch. And that's going to be one of our things that we're asking, maybe at our school level, if we can change Mondays to Meatless Mondays, and then maybe the district. So that'll be something that we can look at late this year, but then also kind of go with next year.
I think it's really important for the kids to see that change, see that they can, that just a second grader can make that change. And one of my favorite quotes is that, I don't remember it word for word, but it's along the lines of, the biggest danger to our earth is thinking that you can't make a difference. And you can. And because all you have to do is talk about it, and then another person joins you, and right there, boom, you've doubled your efforts. And think of how that can impact our world. And so teaching that to second graders, teaching it to 7 and 8 year olds, and really K through 8, wow, the impact, you don't even know how big it could be.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, I love hearing the amazing things that y'all do with your students and for your school community. So thank you. And lastly, I love to ask this because it helps me just kind of see what we do as Unwind as teachers. And so what is something you're reading, listening to, or watching? It does not have to be education related. If you want it to be, but that's one way here, not neither here nor there. So, Donna, we've already heard your stuff, and I love that you say that you listen to a lot more books now, and how that helps ease you. Maybe you've added something new that you're reading or watching or listening to. So, Amanda, what do you got for us?
So I'm reading 2 books right now. One professionally for personal development is Permission to Feel. It's our SEL book that we're working on in our SEL group, and I'm loving that. My just no brain reading where I just want to veg out. I'm a fan of vampire novels. So I love the Crave series by Tracy Wolff. And then watching, I love oh my gosh, I love the maskless. What is it called? The singer, take it off.
The Masked Singer.
The Masked Singer. I was saying the maskless singer, but that doesn't make any sense. Yes, the Masked Singer. I love it. It's what I binge. So
Awesome.
Something new I'm watching is, well, not new. When I need to veg, so I think I talked about last time, maybe The Office. That's my calm. If I'm feeling stressed out, The Office always just helps me calm down because I know what's coming. I love the characters and it's funny. But otherwise, I go down these YouTube black holes of, I'll start watching one like, oh, the mystery of something something, and then it'll change. I'll let it just autoplay, and so then a few minutes later I'm watching 5 Reddit mysteries that are sure to make you not be able to sleep at night. So that's my little guilty, like my husband will come in the room and be like, oh my goodness, what are you watching? And I'm like, it's a mystery. I'm caught up in it. So that's my thing right now.
That's awesome. I just finished a week ago. Again, I read through it and then I'm reading again. It's called Ed, Riddle, and Rush, and it's an education book. But I think both of you would love it. And it's transforming your classroom using ideas from theme parks, mud runs, and escape rooms.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds fun.
Please email us the title and the author.
Yeah. So it's a lot of fun, and I've done a couple of different things this 9 weeks with my students, and they've absolutely.
I saw your pirate thing.
Yeah.
That looked very cool.
It was fun. So it was about that and kind of stuff like that. So cool. I read that again because I was coming up with another idea. I was like, oh, what's some other things I could use for that? So I pulled in there, but. So I have had a great time. Thank you so much for agreeing to just sit and chat with me and just kind of showcase the awesome thing that your green team is doing at the school, and maybe encourage other schools in Orange County or outside Orange County to say, hey, what can we do to just increase the level of sustainability on our campus, conservation, community support, and just getting our students thinking, okay, thinking globally, but acting locally. What can we do to do that? So thank you so much for sharing the awesome things that y'all are doing.
Thank you so much for having us. This was fun.
Thank you. Yeah.
And thanks y'all for watching another episode of Mr. Parker Meets, and we hope to see you again on the next show. And the awkward moment where I have to stop.